I hope you don't get the sickness.
My boy Kurt is a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedle dumb, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
Guess it's time for Pinocchio. Guess it's time to be a real boy. I've never seen Pinocchio. We hit play and we are traded to the original When You Wish Upon a Star song and we're off. If this song doesn't affect you on some deeper inner child level, you legitimately have no soul. That's a fact. I've heard the song a million times and I respect it, but hearing/seeing it as most people saw it for the first time here in Pinocchio, this is an incredible moment. We start with the credits. Now imagine living back in a time when credits were at the beginning of the movie and the crew, not just the actors and director, were important and respected. What a time to be alive. Those days are never coming back. We fade up to a spotlight on a Pinocchio book with Jiminy Cricket sitting on the top, who finishes singing the song, and my cup of childhood joy spilleth over. Jiminy starts narrating and I'm not even listening. I'm still drowning in a deep ocean of that song's importance. He could be telling me he kicks orphans and throws rocks at penguins and I'd still be grinning. I'm off in a completely different world for now, just in another time. But continue we must. I don't want to. I kind of want to turn it off now in case this movie has nowhere to go but down, but let's do it. He's in Geppetto's toy factory. No, what's the old-timey word for toy factory? It's gone. We see an unalive Pinocchio and Geppetto and his cat Figaro come down the stairs. Geppetto is humming a new song and now I don't have When You Wish Upon a Star in my head anymore and I kind of hate him for that. I hate that he did that. Okay, back to this movie. He wants to name the marionette Pinocchio and he asks his cat and fish if they like the name. I'm troubled by this. For the first time in my life, I realize Jiminy Cricket is dressed like he lives on the street, like he has holes in his shoes, tattered clothes, and a top hat with no top. Can't Jiminy Cricket do magic? You're telling me he's about to bring a marionette to life in a bit, but he can't make himself a new pair of kicks? Figaro hangs in front of Pinocchio and immediately starts trying to fight the doll for no reason. Like, what kind of illegal fight club does this old man have going on in his basement, in his toy workshop? There it is. Jiminy is clumsy and has droopy eyes most of the time. Like, I think this is a wink to mom and dad watching that Jiminy's a little bit of a lush. And, you know, making fun of a cricket with a drinking problem is a little offensive by today's standards, but it's also funny and appreciated right now. Geppetto tucks everyone into bed, including the fish. Figaro opens the window and the old man sees a wishing star, and I'm not really sure what just happened, but now he's wishing on the star that Pinocchio would become a real boy, and a gentle instrumental version of When You Wish Upon a Star is playing, and this movie reminded me again that apparently still somewhere deep down in here, I have feelings. That scene was really good. It was just like wonderfully impactful. Awesome. A blue fairy enters the window and her animation style is different than anything else I've ever seen in Disney. Her dress sparkles and she's just weirdly animated. It looks like they used a real woman but traced over her, and that's what the animation is, the realistic outline of a real woman. Anyway, their wish comes true and she brings Pinocchio to life like a hot Dr. Frankenstein. And hold on. I've never seen this movie before, but are you telling me Jiminy Cricket isn't the one that brings Pinocchio to life? This gal does? I thought my song.
Making it real like Jiminy Cricket.
Making it real like Jiminy Cricket.
Mistakes have been made. They have a talk about consciences and she makes Jiminy Cricket Pinocchio's conscious. Yes, the unmagical stumbling drunk cricket starts giving him what's what about being alive advice. It starts telling him about temptations. Like, it's a little early for the talk, don't you think there, Cricket? Jiminy sings a song about what to do when you're tempted. His answer is to whistle. So there you go, folks. When temptation comes a-knocking, just whistle. Gonna have to roll that around in my head for a little bit here. We jump to Geppetto waking up, hearing things. He removes a loaded gun from beneath his pillow. Now, why is this toy maker packing heat? And he's got an itchy trigger finger to boot. He almost shoots Pinocchio. Wouldn't that have been a soul-crushing twist mid-movie? I'm surprised Black Mirror hasn't done an episode yet to show us the horrors of bringing inanimate objects to life. He wished upon a star, and he's tickled pink that Pinocchio is alive. And you know what, bud? At this point, it's okay to call an audible with a name. Like, I'm sure he wouldn't have been Pinocchio if you knew there was actually a chance he was going to come to life. You know, every kid in the 80s got that Cabbage Patch doll with the official official certificate that said their name was like Xavius Perseus Demetrius, but we all just renamed them Mike. Geppetto is dancing and humming, and Pinocchio lights himself on fire as you do when you first come to life. Geppetto sticks Pinocchio's hand in the fishbowl to put it out. The water turns black, and then the fish comes to the surface and exhales smoke rings. That's pretty funny. It's bedtime and Pinocchio doesn't want to go to bed. Yeah, Geppetto, see what you did? See what we all did? Everyone wanted kids, and now none of us are sleeping. That's part of the deal. Everyone snarkily warns you about it, but you have no idea until you're living it. Like, where's another star to wish upon? I'll gladly sing a song about sleeping for longer than 45 minutes at a time if that blonde will come back and douse my child in magical ether. He sends Pinocchio to school, and okay, there's a fox and a cat walking around dressed as humans, but aren't there real humans? This is baffling. Why can't Figaro walk and talk smack and wear clothes like this fox? I still can't get over the fact, though, that Jiminy Cricket didn't bring Pinocchio to life. Like, I'm gonna get Chillin' Evans to redo my intro, I guess. The cat isn't talking, just the fox. So, like, who can talk in here and who can't? Maybe he could, like, Geppetto could hear his animals talk before. Like, why can some walk and talk? I just don't know. I don't know what's going on with the animal-human thing. Okay. When you wish upon a star. Who's this fox? Obviously the villain, but I've never seen him before. I don't think he's even on that giant puzzle we do that has all the characters pre-Renaissance. I'll have to check. Is that? No. The cat sees Jiminy Cricket on the fox's hat. Where's the fox at? That's a funny joke. There it is with Jiminy on it. So the cat pulls out a mallet, and like a WWF tag team wrestler, when his partner holds their opponent open for a free shot, then the opponent moves at the last second, he creams his own tag team partner. In this case, Jiminy jumps off, and the cat crushes the fox skull with his mallet. That was really satisfying. The fox and the cat take Pinocchio to Stromboli, the marionette show, but it turns out Pinocchio is the show. Pinocchio sings a song about not having strings and then falls flat on his face, and everyone laughs because, if you're keeping track at home, a singing demon doll is applause-worthy. However, a clumsy singing demon doll, next. Tough crowd. 4 oddly busty marionettes drop down and start dancing, exposing their above-the-knee leggings, and I'm wondering if Geppetto is somewhere regretting which puppet he wished he brought to life. Okay, people throw money at Pinocchio. Geppetto is actually worried and goes out looking for him and tells Figaro not to eat until he returns. Ice cold. Figaro is hilarious though. I love that cat. Stromboli loves Pinocchio, and Pinocchio tells him he has to go home, and Stromboli stuffs him into a birdcage and locks it, and explains how he's now his performer. He's now his slave. And he's going to make Stromboli a whole bunch of money until Pinocchio grows too big, and then Stromboli's going to murder him and use him as firewood kindling. And to demonstrate that, he takes an axe and plunges it into a dead-looking puppet. I used to take great joy when an old-timey movie like this delivers something super dark and disturbing by today's standards, but now that I'm watching this with my own kid, it's not that funny. This is animated child abuse and kidnapping with the threat of death. But I'm going to shrug my shoulders and say, sign of times! When you wish upon a star. Jiminy comes to help him break his rusty cage, but I use that. He can't, because he can't pick the lock. We're coming back here, one take. He says, it's hopeless, solid effort. The blue fairy returns and asks Pinocchio why he didn't go to school. Because he's locked in a bird cage. He lies and says, monsters attacked him, and then his nose grows, and here we go. He keeps telling lies and his nose keeps growing. Remember, a boy that won't be good might as well be made of wood, says Hot Fairy. She unlocks the cage and he escapes off the back of the carriage. Pinocchio yells, bye, Mr. Stromboli, and his tiny voice mixed with the fact that he's a tiny moron makes me laugh really hard. That human fox creeps me out, and I'm not sure why at first, but then I do know why. He looks like the nightmare fuel from the old 1960s Eaton's animatronic display they put up in our Western Development Museum each Christmas. I don't like him. The fox catches Pinocchio, pretends he's a doctor, and diagnoses Pinocchio with some made-up diseases. This is typical old-timey Disney movie stalling. Fox says he needs a vacation to Pleasure Island. The Raggedy Cat wants to bonk Pinocchio on the head with his mallet, and that cat has a problem. Anyways, there's this weird dude collecting children and taking them to a place called Pleasure Island, and wow, what a different time this movie was made in. This guy is taking kids to Pleasure Island. That's a verbal summary of what's happening on my screen, but I still feel uncomfortable with that string of words as they come out of my mouth. Again, the children are loaded into a ship and they're taken to Pleasure Island. I want to turn this movie off. The old man is creepy, and I'm getting an Island of Dr. Moreau vibe, but no, Island turns out to be awesome. The scratches all the children's various itches. They go down Tobacco Row, where wooden Native American statues throw the kids cigars. Now Pinocchio has an axe. They smash windows. The Mona Lisa is in there waiting to be destroyed. There's a wide shot of an amusement park, and one kid falls off the top of the Ferris wheel, but it's caught at the bottom. Happy times. Fade to black. Jiminy shows up and the place is empty. One ginger kid is left playing billiards with Pinocchio while they both smoke cigars. Isn't he made of wood? Don't smoke, buddy. Bad idea. But he is green from smoking. Then there's like a Ren and Stimpy type shot from his perspective where the 8-ball is like really realistic. It doesn't match the rest of the animation. Jiminy finds Pinocchio and he does not like this mean ginger kid. He tells him he's gonna knock his block off. Jiminy tells the kid to go make a jackass out of himself. A jackass. They said jackass in Pinocchio. Jiminy tries to leave and finds an angry army of donkeys though. The old man is selling donkeys to salt mines. So these are the kids. He's turning them into donkeys. The donkey children cry that they want to go home and he yells at them and stuffs them into crates like, okay, pause. First of all, this is horrific. Second of all, this actually is the island of Dr. Moreau. And third, I missed my opportunity. Calling that kid a jackass a few minutes ago is actually foreshadowing. Usually I do a sing-songy thing about foreshadowing, but okay. Back to Pinocchio. The ginger suddenly painfully turns into a donkey himself, and this is scary stuff. Now Pinocchio is turning into a donkey. See what cigars can do, kids? Jiminy gets Pinocchio to jump into the river, but he's still half donkey. They return home to Geppetto, but guess what? He's half donkey and he's got some explaining to do. The house is empty. They're all gone, Rudolph. A glowing blue dove flies by and drops a letter. Jiminy says the letter says Geppetto went looking for Pinocchio but was swallowed by a whale and is still alive inside the whale at the bottom of the sea. Oh, that's a twist. So the magical homeless cricket and the half-alive puppet half-donkey march down the street to jump into the ocean to find a whale. So the whale swallows them so Pinocchio can rescue his dad, who's a real man alive and trapped inside a whale's stomach. Just wanted to say that aloud. There's some Moby Dick, no, some Jonas and the Whale stuff going on here. Okay, the whale's name is Monstro. Where is the Monstro merchandise? I want to go to Disney World and get like a $300 giant stuffed Monstro that has to have his own seat on the airplane on the flight home. For Halloween this year, I think I'm going to go as a whale with my real head sticking out of his mouth and dye my hair and mustache gray and wear silly rectangle glasses and see if anyone gets the Pinocchio reference. Okay, they've been swimming for like 10 minutes and there is Monstro, and Monstro is amazing. Inside his stomach, sure enough, there's an entire ship and Geppetto and the cat are sitting on the side fishing. They're fishing in the whale's stomach. So fishing in stomach acid and bile apparently. He says they haven't caught anything in days, so there was a time he caught a bile fish and I guess they ate it. Puke. Monstro wakes up. My autocorrect typed that Monstro whales up, and I kind of like that better. Monstro whales up and eats a bunch of fish. And he does the free willy where he breaks the surface and he snatches Pinocchio out of the air as he jumps. Father and son are reunited in the belly of a whale, and like the old cliche goes, while they're still inside the whale, Geppetto is grilling him, just throwing shade about being a half donkey. He should grow his nose and like tickle the inside of the whale until they get coughed out. All he needs is a bunch of lies to do that, like, this Disney classic deserves to be on the same shelf as Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, or this has been a well-constructed connective plot, or I hope that pretty blue fairy woman doesn't come back a third time. But no, plan B. They build a fire and the whale coughs them out. Once again, I love Monstro. Each of these old classics gives me at least one amazing unloved character that time has forgotten. Geppetto floats to shore and he lays there like he wants Jack from Titanic to draw him like one of his French girls. The fish made it, the cat made it, the cricket made it. They all look for Pinocchio and he is face down in a puddle. We hit that third act final death scare, but he actually is dead. But oh, here comes the blue fairy. She makes him into a real boy and brings him back to life. We see Geppetto crying and he asks what he's so sad about. And Geppetto says, because you're dead, Pinocchio. And am I drinking Tim Hortons new blend? Because that's dark. Wait, so his nose only grew once this whole movie? I assume that was like a reoccurring thing that happened constantly, like every few minutes. I'm confused and annoyed. When you wish upon a star starts playing again, and I freaking love this movie. That song is everything. But wait, are those kids still donkeys? No one stopped that evil guy. I guess he's still kidnapping and turning terrified children into donkeys and selling children donkeys as they cry for their parents and they're forced to work in mines. And oh, there it is again. When you wish upon a star, everything's gonna be okay. I mean, not for the donkey boys, but for me, everything's gonna be okay.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has. Thank you.